What's good, YouTube? It's jazzlovesmma here, and I'm here with the super duper late recap of UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi, Ankalaev versus Guskov. Let's get into it, starting with the main event. What an uneventful main event. Man, I called it right, pretty much. From the left hand being money and being very well used by Ankalaev to the front kicks to the body, the high kicks being utilized, the low kicks, even some takedowns. I don't know if I said it in my prediction video, but it's something I had in my mind. I also made a tweet about it, talking about the whole breakdown of it. But yeah, went exactly how I expected, stylistically, visually, and outcome wise. It is not what I expected. I really thought Ankalaev would push the pace a little bit more, follow through with combinations more. Maybe he was tentative with the right hand of Guskov. He did get tagged once off a shifting shot from Guskov, I think, in round 2. But other than that, Ankalaev kind of did what he wanted, just pressured. Guskov just didn't do anything. He lands a couple slappy low kicks. He landed one good head kick that got blocked. The shifting right hand, and that was pretty much all he threw and landed. Rounds 1 to 3, he just kind of was like still finding his reads. He was going unorthodox to find the jab. I think he could have just found it in southpaw. I think the lead hook was there for in southpaw. He would land it here and there, especially when Guskov would dip. He would find it, but not much to complain about other than it being boring. I think he just really could have poured it on and gotten a much better finish. He stung him, Guskov, multiple times on the feet. Round 4, sorry. He finds the takedown immediately, controls it, has some of the worst submission attempts ever. It looks like he does not know how to lock in a submission attempt to save his life. And yeah, then he immediately goes for a takedown in round 5, after dominating round 4. I had him up around 4 rounds. At this point, 5, because I think I gave round 4 10-8. But this was just a foul watch, to be honest. It was really hard to watch and just not enjoyable. Very slow paced, very methodical. It's like there wasn't even enough happening for me to like be like, oh yeah, this was a fantastic striking display. Like, it was good for Ankalaev, but it was just pretty bad to watch. In round 5, he gets the takedown immediately. And had some good ground pound. Guskov eventually gets finished. Anticlimactic finish, anticlimactic fight. Maybe, I just know. I think Ankalaev maybe was in his head a little bit too much for this matchup, especially coming off a loss, like he did. Maybe he came into this matchup a little bit more worried about the power of Guskov than maybe he would have. Because even in the first Alex fight, he was pouring on combinations. He would mix it up. But here he's very just picking his shots when he wanted. And yeah, I haven't even seen the fucking strike numbers. Let's look at that real quick. 19 to 11. Didn't even feel like that. 29 to 15. Did he really land nearly 30 shots? 15 to 15. I don't even know if that's accurate. That makes sense because he was landing ground and pound. 3 significant strikes in a row. Holy shit. Then 37. Yeah. Yeah. Awful fight. We'll just move on to the co-main event. Steve versus Tamarov. I actually wrote notes for a lot of these fights, so I'm gonna see how much they help me out. But honestly, Steve Erceg, man, he gets put down with a spinning back kick to the body immediately into round 1, and then like he gets caught by a big right hand, and it feels like he had found his groove after getting rocked. He starts finding the jab pretty well, the right hand over the top. I think he finds some kicks to the body and some low kicks. He looked good. He got a couple takedown stuff, but he was looking good. But he frames with the lead hand, and then a big right hand comes over the top from Tamarov nearing like 2 minutes in, or like 3 minutes in. and he gets dropped, he gets wobbled, he's getting stung, he's scarfing all over the fence. It gets put down over and over again. It gets called. And it felt like after that first minute where Tamara landed the big right hand and the spinning back kick, Usyk was finding his groove. But this little Roy cheat finds the shot. Yeah, Tamarov does have crazy power, and Usyk is susceptible to the overhand. There's something to worry about always from the start. So, yeah, it is what it is. Fuck Tamarov. I don't know where he goes from here, to be honest. Sucks for Ursay, man. It felt like he was getting his groove back, and then he gets awful matchmaking. We'll talk about awful matchmaking in just quite a bit. Where is he? In just quite a bit. But Tamara got it done. Moving on to Chanko versus Damien Respecki. Or Respecki. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Good performance from Chanko, I guess. But it felt like a lot of dumb game planning and just inexperience from Damien. He kind of felt like shit. And now that I look back at it and like now thinking about the commentary, they did say that he is he likes to switch stances a lot. And I assume he's a normal orthodox striker or fighter. And just fought in the southpaw position, in the southpaw stance for this fight. Because when I was watching him strike, I was like, dude, he looks so bad. Like, he just looks so uncoordinated. And it makes a lot more sense realizing he's a natural orthodox fighter. Because he was looking genuinely like shit in southpaw. But the fight starts. I think Chunko lands like a good stomp and like a good elbow. That's something Chunko's doing well throughout the whole fight. These elbows to the side of the head and the stomps on the lead leg, but mainly the elbows, especially in southpaw, he was just finding that really well. And they end up in the clinch for like about 3 minutes of the fight, probably. Chunko's doing all the damage in the clinch, some knees in the clinch, tappy elbows. They separate. I think Chunko starts landing some uppercuts, some shifting shots, which he was doing throughout the entire fight, where he landed the right hand and as he lands the right, he will go into southpaw, land the left, land the right, and then go back in orthodox. It was helping him press Respecki back a lot. What else happened in round one? Oh yeah, he lands a pretty bad eye poke. He like goes like this, lands it. Like I think the middle finger lands in the left eye of Respecki, and then he lands a really clean elbow on the side of his face. He keeps fighting, takes a little break, gets a takedown on Chanko, but I think ends with Chanko getting back up. Round two, pretty much the same as round one. Respecki pushing Chanko against the fence, looking for the clinch, but he starts to pay in the clinch a lot more because Chanko just starts ripping these beautiful elbows, side of the face, over the face, bang, 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 over the top, bang to the side of the face, to the jaw, and it started taking like wearing on Respecki really badly. He was landing some good front kicks to the body and to the face. And then, again, that right hand was money for him in this round. It was a really good dominant round for Chanko. He ends up wobbling him bad, has him like really badly hurt, has a cut over like in between the eyes. And yeah. And like Respecki just wasn't safe anywhere. He would smudge against the fence to try to survive, but he was still getting elbowed. But he stayed in it, showed toughness, was 10-0. Pretty inexperienced, but showed some grit. It did feel like he was about to get finished at any second, but I think he got taken down at some point too. Got back up. He looked for the slowest spinning back fist ever. Like it was so telegraphed because he kind of went for it. Like he wasn't going to throw it, but he went for it anyway. I think that just shows how green he is still. Round three, again, Chanko just pouring it on. He does gas. I don't think like physically he gasses, but he does get tired after like a round because and he just he really looks like a pig, respectfully. And yeah, Even here, he was looking a little tired. Specky felt like he was like pushing him against the fence, but he kept getting elbowed. He kept getting hurt. The right hands again. He lands a beautiful front kick that literally, it look in the picture of it, it looks like his toes are in his mouth. Or Specky ends up like halfway through the round, fighting some good shots, some uppercuts against the fence, but again, it's just he doesn't have enough pop in it. He's going more to orthodox this time because I also think his leg is getting chewed up. Or no, he's getting stomped a lot on the leg. So he just opts to going into orthodox, his natural stance. But he was still getting tagged. Good hooks around the guard from Chanko. And the elbows are still there. Ends with Respecty chasing a finish. Looking for any big moment. Just not really getting it. 3-0 Chanko. Good performance in his debut. I think he's a little bit older, so maybe you give him someone who else fall on the card. I think like Mike Davis would be a good matchup. Tested grappling and just be I think a fun striking fight if Davis doesn't want to grapple and be gay, in his words. Moving on, Rizvan Kuniev versus Tyrell Fortune. We got fight of the night. Wow, something. Kuniev started good with pressure. I think he's really good in the clinch. It's kind of how he was beating up Almeida, smudging him against the fence. He was doing it here. He does get cracked by a big right hand early, but he stays in the fight, pressure and row in the space, like a 2-1, 1-2. Did well with that. Was finding some good knees to the face of Fortune, some good knees to the body. It felt like if he went to more like just body shots after, I feel like he visibly hurt Fortune with that knee to the body. He also landed a really good spinning back kick. He's a very athletic fat dude. I will say that. Like he's fast, like decently fat. I'm not gonna say he's like super fast like Aspirin or Hawkeye, but he definitely has speed to him. And the way he was like pressuring and moving forward, and then he was doing some jumping shots, some jumping kicks. I was like, all right, he's decently athletic for even someone who's fat. Cause I think DC said on the commentary he came in at the heavyweight limit. He's just not probably taking the cut seriously, or that he just walks around at the weight, not even cutting weight. Either way, in round 2, it's where Kuniev really starts pouring it on. Just a beatdown, pretty much for the first 3 minutes, where he's just landing knees, and he hurts Fortune really badly to the body, and he lands some like really bad body shots. But it felt like if he just sunk them in a little bit more and turned it in like what Illy was doing to Gaethje, in round 2, I think he could have gotten the finish a little bit earlier. Because hurting him to the face, kept landing the right hand, would go in the clinch, look for elbows. I really love his clinch work. I love guys who clinch and do damage in that position. Chanko and Kuniev back to back. But I just love that. Even though Kuniev sucks because he's a fucking Roy cheat, the clinch work was really nice to see. The knees, he would just eventually just keep landing on the guard, and I felt like he could have. If he had better shot selection in these moments, I get it. He kind of wanted to finish. He was looking to pour on it, but pour it on. But yeah, he ends up separating Fortune. It's tough as fuck. Lands a really good right hand, but Kuniev keeps pressing forward, keeps landing the uppercuts in the clinch to the body. So he hooks around the guard and stuff. Knees and knees and knees. Has Fortune's face swelling. And yeah, I have notes here, so I'm trying to look at it. See if I had missed anything. Round 3, it's looking really bad for Fortune. He like walks to the corner with his hand over his ribs. And I'm like, okay, he's either got like a broken rib or the body's still really aching, and some like he got damaged really badly. I think Kuniev finds a good body kick, a good knee again, and some good hooks around the guard as Fortune tries hurt back up to the fence, and then another big shot puts Fortune down. He sinks to the canvas. Kuniev gets the finish immediately into round 1 or round 3. Impressive stuff from Kuniev. I don't know who he can go from here. Maybe fight Walter Walker. There's an Abu Dhabi card coming up for UFC in October, UFC 333. Don't know if Kuniev would want to be on there. Maybe him versus Walter Walker. I think that just makes sense. Or maybe him versus another top heavyweight. Who knows? Moving on to Abubakar Vagaev versus Saigir Izak. Maev. This fight was kind of shit. Oh, I didn't mean to press that. Round 1, they're both getting takedowns on each other. Saigid, these are really doing enough with it, but Vagaev ends up landing some good ground and pound. He ends up cutting Saigid early in the round with like a good elbow, and he can't just how he won it, landing some good elbows. So just landing ground and pound when you get into the grappling, even on the feet. Once Saigid got up, he would look for the jab, but Vagaev was there, still landing some good uppercuts and stuff. Round 2, Saigid starts good early, finds the jab, lands a good right hand, lands a I'm thinking of the third round, maybe. But I think he lands a good knee early into round 2. And then he just keeps allowing himself to get backed up to the fence. Even if he's like defending some of these takedowns, he's still just doing nothing against the fence and getting like pitter-patter shots on. They both would land the jab at the same time. I really hate seeing people just slip a jab or like jab and slip and then get jabbed themselves. It's really interesting to see. Especially when their own jab lands and the other person's doing the same thing. But yeah, he kind of let himself lose that second round, like halfway through. And the one time commentary was kind of on point. They were kind of saying he's gonna be so mad with himself rewatching this round because he just allowed Vagaev to do whatever you want. I don't know if that's what they said exactly, but it's true. He kind of just let himself lose that second round after starting it off really well, landing some good shots. The right hand was looking good. I hate this Philly show he was looking for. I just kind of hate Philly. So certain Philly shows in the UFC and MMA in general. Round 3, Sagan's pouring it on. He's landing some good shots. He gets taken down. He gets back up, landing some good shots. Baguette is still in front of him, but he's like Sagan just the cleaner shots, lands a good knee to the body, and I think he gets knee in the body as well, either in this round or second. And it looks like he could get a finish, but he ends up going to the grappling. Looks for some bad head and arm chokes. Gets top control, not really getting ground and pound. Near like with the last 30 seconds, he looks for it. Looks for an arm bar, doesn't get it. Loses a 29-28, I think. I don't know how it scored, but that's what I had it scored, 29-28. And yeah. Sucks for Saigid. He's now 0-2 in the UFC. Really wonder if they'll keep him. Maybe they'll keep him up for one more fight. But he did take this on short notice, to be fair, and was able to win a third round, which feels like it's the opposite of how people talked about him, because he naturally slows down. So, good win for Vagaev, I guess. Moving on to Ismail Bonfim versus Axel Sola. I keep fucking up his name. Axel Sola. Really, really good win. Did I not write about this? I did. I don't know. Why is it up here? This is not where this fight happened. Anyway, I don't know why the website has it here. Axel Sola starts the rounds off, landing some good body kicks. Some really, really nice body kicks. The second one gets caught by Bonfim. He shoots for a takedown. I'm so confused why this fight is here, because it wasn't here. It was like really early in the night, and it saved this shitty ass card from being worse. And Bonfim's just stuck on the single leg, and Sola's landing some good elbows to the back of the head. He ends up landing some to the behind, but he's looking to land some good elbows to the side of the head, landing some good punches. Eventually makes Bonfim sink to his knees. Keeps landing some ground and pound. Threatens the sub, doesn't really look for though. Keeps landing ground and pound as Bonfim shoots for another single leg. Sola looks for a really nasty fucking Dars. Gets it, locks it in, and once it was locked in, Bonfim had to tap. And yeah, great performance from Sola. Bonfim didn't die at the scale this time, so it was a pretty good. Like at least it was a decent Bonfim that came into this fight compared to his last one. And I'll say that I don't know. I'm still really high, and I still feel like still has a lot of promise, especially in this lightweight division. He does have a really short reach. When I was watching fight, I was like, dude, his arms look crazy tiny, and the way he fights, like he's built like he's kind of like the T-Rex of the division. But lots of promise, dude. He made a somewhat like a pretty competitive fight out of Mason Jones, so he definitely has some promise. Who else did he beat? Reese McKee, someone who's like welterweight, who had just fought middleweight. I'm still high on Solo. I don't know who you could give him next. Gotta give him someone like, maybe you give him Drew Dober. I don't know. Unless Drew Dober has a fight, but maybe give him Terrence McKinney. Maybe that's what you do. Solo versus Terrence McKinney. I think that's a good fight. It's a good step up for him as well. Or you give Terrence McKinney to Chanko, and you give Solo to Davis or something like that. Moving on to Walter Walker versus Thomas Peterson. Good win from Walter Walker. The heel hook gimmick is done. No more heel hooks. Sad to see. Walter Walker pressures early. I don't think he even lands any punches. They engage in the clinch. And as Peterson's like pressing Walter Walker back, Walter just pulls guard. Peterson stays in full guard. As he tries to get out and get like just out of the grappling, Walter immediately looks for the heel hook. Peterson does well to like roll with it, but Walter Walker's stuck on him like glue, just staying on it. Like even when Peterson like rolled all the way to the fence and he was like trying to scoot out, Walter was just like dead set. He had the calf at the perfect position where he couldn't get out. They both were dry still, so it made sense. And he still had the heel as well. And he ends up transitioning into a calf slicer, and he takes the back, and then Peterson has to tap. Good sub win for Walter Walker. He needs to step up at this point. Like, he's just heel hooking and subbing these fucking fat blobs in the unranked heavyweight division. Get this dude fucking, get this dude to step up. I don't know. I really would have wanted to see him versus, what's his name? Tybura, but Tybura fights next week. So maybe we'll see. Maybe Tybura doesn't take too much damage and Walter Walker wants to take that. Or maybe Walter Walker wants to sit out for another couple months. But I think Walter Walker versus Elijah would be the fight to make. Thomas Pearson, don't know what you do for him. Poor guy. He's win, lose one in the UFC. And not the greatest wins. I know some people were picking Peterson here because he could give issues to Walter Walker, but it's just rough. New sub on the block. Moving on to Dustin Jacoby versus Magomed Saidov. Wow, one of the other picks I got wrong. But this one I was actually surprised about getting wrong. The other two I was like, I knew those it could happen. I had a feeling it could happen here. But Dustin Jacoby, man, just looked like shit. Not fully committing on a single kick at all. In the first round, they're both being patient, but Saidov just ends up landing the bigger shots with a couple good right overhands. And Jacoby just looking stiff, not committing with the low kicks at all. He's like let's say this is Jacoby. He was just like this. He wasn't like turning over the kicks. He was like not even fully committing to them. He was like just kind of tap with the side of the foot to the leg or to the body. And yeah, Saidov found a really good left side high kick. I don't remember if he was an orthodox to where it was a lead side, but he found it pretty well in round one. Stung Jacoby and landed some good right overhands. I will say for some of that round, they were over exaggerating some of the shots. Like the big wheel kick landed on the shoulder Jacoby, and he landed some good overhands like on the chest and on the back on Jacoby as well. But he took round one pretty clearly. Jacoby landed like a couple peppering jabs, and as Saidov like went for like a spinning kick, he got clipped by a left hook. But I'd still say Saidov won that pretty clearly. It was just bigger shots, more effective kicks and stuff. Round two starts, and Saidov's even doing better. He's finding his jab a lot better. Finding some low kicks of himself. I think he landed a really good bad body kick in round one that Jacoby parried away, but still landed really strong. And the corner of Saidov said it would be there. So I think he finds a good kick in this round as well. He's finding just good kicks to the body. He's finding the right overhand a lot better. And he's staying Jacoby. Jacoby just not doing anything. He's really trying to invest on these low kicks and these like pitter patter like marching kicks that he's looking for. Just not the right game plan. Saidov ends up finding a right hand and then a left head kick right after it. Really good stuff. Really good finish. Puts Jacoby down. Jacoby gets the back up, pressed against the fence. Saidov tees off. He's like curled up already. He's trying to stay in it, but he gets clipped to the guard, put down again. Ref stops it. Really impressive win from Saitov, because even guys in the UFC like really struggle with Jacoby, and most people don't even put Jacoby out like that. Like other than Reyes, like Menifield couldn't really do it. Mirzakanov, I don't think he even did it. So you could say it's like an age thing for Jacoby, but it's a really good win from Saitov. I don't really know what you do with him. It depends if the UFC wants to push him up the ranks due to Jacoby being like a pretty just outside the rankings fighter, or if they want to build him with one more before they even do that. I think maybe test him with someone outside the rankings first, and then throw him in the rankings somewhere. But maybe give him Kudalaba just like as a good test to see where he's at. But Jacoby sucks because he kept getting like bums. Bruno Lopez, Julius Walker, and then he was supposed to fight Uran Saltibadiev like twice. Never got that fight. Stuck with Saidov here. Debuting in Dangerous Prospect. And he's finally the prospect to put Jacoby out. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Sam Patterson. Immediately into the round, Ponzinibbio lands a really good right overhand that Patterson, with his tall man defense, with his chin up in the air, gets cracked and like wobbled a little bit. But he gets pressed to the fence. He circles well. He's looking for like the stiffest hooks and uppercuts ever. Even the commentary was really telling him that he should look for straights. And then he starts coming in with a jab, stinging Ponzinibbio. He's looking for some really like stinging front and deep kicks to the body of Ponzinibbio. And he keeps finding that right hand, bang, stinging Ponzinibbio, rocking him, having him do spins, having him turn away. Just busted up the face of Ponzinibbio with it as well. Ponzinibbio would try to land over the top, but Patterson made a really good adjustment for his tall man defense where you make sure all these shots were landing on the shoulders and on the chest and on the back. And I think it was a really good adjustment defensively for someone who fights who has the defense of him. Because if not, that right overhand of Ponzinibbio would just continuously land. I think he did end up landing again, but it wasn't as big as it was in the first round. It was a good first round for Patterson, honestly. He barely got even touched. Ponzinibbio was just kind of got brutalized. Round 2 it started, and Patterson's picking up the pace, finding the 1-2s, 2-1s, finding some good lead hooks and some like lead uppercuts as well. He's finally like flowing with it, and Ponzinibbio just getting pressure back, looking really awful for him. I think he gets stung really badly by a right hand, and Patterson's just all over him. Against the fence, finds a 1-2-3 that really puts Ponzinibbio down. And as Ponzinibbio gets back up, he gets put down by a big right hand again. And no ground and pound, no nothing. Referee stops it. Great finish. From Patterson. He really wanted to have a showcase out here to show that he's not boring after that MVP fight. And he did. He did exactly that. Had a really good performance against the fellows. It is Ponzinibbio, so you must take it with a grain of salt. But I just think Patterson's quite good, and I think he's like just outside the top 15 level. And I think honestly he could be top 15 level at some point if he fixes some things up. If Buckley has no fight, maybe you do Patterson versus Buckley. I don't think they'll want to do that. Due to Patterson just having fought in the rankings and then him getting Ponzinibbio. So maybe you could do him versus who's just also in the rankings. Like a winner of Neil Magny Brahimaj, I think. They fight soon. I don't know, Patterson took no damage. But he should get a step up. I really think he's good. And he's like that just outside the top 15 level. Ponzinibbio really should retire. Magomed Suchalov versus Brenson Ribeiro. I need to drink water first. This is a fight that really pissed me off as someone who predicted Tuchelov to win. Round one, he's pretty much doing nothing, backing himself up, checking kicks well. I did appreciate that. I think he had really good low kick defense throughout this fight. And I don't know, he just wasn't really throwing. Ribeiro's doing good with the jab. He does have long arms. And I was like, the entire round, I'm like, that lead hand of Ribeiro really sticks out. He fights like this with the lead hand really out. I'm like, you can find a good right hand if you just even try putting the jab on him, look for a right hand around it, and it will land. He finds the right hand at the end of the round after getting jabbed up, caught with big right hands, and it makes Ribeiro back up, and he's to the fence, and it looks like he's hurt. And instead of teeing off with punches or looking for some shot selection, he freezes, starts putting his hands down, and looks for a jumping or a flying knee, and gets cracked and sat down and hurt. And then he goes to the second round with a massive cut and fucking mouse under his eye. His eye is swollen, it's cut, it's bleeding. He's clearly bothered by it because he keeps touching it. And yeah, round two, it's pretty much the same. But Tuchelov actually starts throwing a little bit more. He's still getting caught by the jab, but he starts finding the right hand around the guard of Ribeiro more. I think he does the same thing with the fucking flying knee, but he's just outside the he gets too close and Ribeiro doesn't really throw. He eventually gets a takedown. Ribeiro ends up getting back up, and Tuchelov keeps finding the right hand, and he kind of wins that round pretty convincingly. Round three, goes back to doing nothing, continues to let himself get pressed forward. Ribeiro is having a much better round for himself. I think he gets cracked by a big right hand again and again and again. And he eventually gets taken down. He gets back up. And he shoots his own takedown, which loses him the fight because Tuchelov reverses it. And I think he was getting slammed and getting slammed over and over again earlier in the round. But he ends up getting taken down after he shoots and gets controlled and pretty much loses it for himself. But he eventually lands some good elbows off his back. And I think... No, he's not the one who looked for the armbar. It is Ankalaev. And you could arguably, if you're doing it off damage, like I'm going to talk about in this next fight, you could give it to Branson Ribeiro 1 and 3. But they gave it to Tuchelov 2 and 3. He's really green. He showed some decent skill, low kick defense. He had pretty good takedowns when he got with the slams he was doing, and just a general takedowns. But he really needs to chop up his pressure, his output, his shot selection, and his finishing sequences, because the freezing and then looking for the flying knee will get him hurt again and again and again. Narulo Alia versus Mike Davis. I'll talk about my prediction right after. I don't even care. Narulo Aliev just gets a really good easy takedown immediately into round one. Really sticky grappling, stays on that single leg, but I thought Mike Davis round one he was landing all the damage, landing shots to the back. But when he was taken down, he was landing good 12 to 6 elbows off his back, some good elbows, regular ones, some good punches. He just kept getting taken down over and over again. I get it. I think off damage, he does win that. He'll get back up. He's really athletic. When he gets a butterfly guard, he's just able to get it from the position. So he's off his back. He's just able to get up so easily. But it allowed for Ankalaev to stay in the clinch and keep shooting. Kept taking him down. But I thought Davis was he was doing all the damage off his back and stuff. Let's see the strike numbers in round one. I don't even agree with that. Yeah, 5 significant strikes. I don't even think he landed that much. Maybe he was landing some shots to the thigh. I don't even remember him landing punches in round one. But in round two is really where Ankalaev picked it up. Round two, he starts taking down Davis, and he starts pouring on some good ground and pound. I think in round one he was landing some little pitter patter shots, and he starts to go, hey, Hey. Coaches were just trying to do that maybe to get the judges to be on their side. But around 2, he starts pouring it on in a moment while Davis is trying to get up. Davis just has some pretty bad body language to the ground and pound. I get it's him just trying to scrum out, but it's just bad body language because Ankalaev is pouring on big ground and pound. And he's like big flurries of shots against the fence on the ground. He was doing pretty well. And just Davis wasn't finding the takedowns as well as round 1. Wait, this also is round 1. Yeah, it's more accurate. Like he was landing some good shots off of his back, like some elbows when he was against the fence, and off his back he'll look for 12-6. But him looking for that would just open up more ground and pound for our leave this round. Was there sub attempt this round? I have no idea. Round 3 is the tricky round. I don't know how they scored at 30-27. I did think Davis at least won round 1, but round 3. Davis starts early with double jab. I think in the feet. Now I'm remembering round 2. Ankalaev does well on the feet. He lands like a big right hand or something, and then shoots a takedown. In round 3, Davis finds the double jab in the right hand, and then finds a good knee to the body. Ankalaev finds his own, but then he starts getting clipped by some good hooks from Davis. Eventually gets taken down, but he's still laying damage off his back. He's still looking for elbows. He gets back up. Now I'm like remembering these rounds a little bit more and more. I literally broke them in my notes, but I'm like now I'm remembering them even better than was here. Against the fence, Ankalaev was just landing some knees to the fence, like knees to the die wall. He was landing elbows to the face. Near the end, like last 30 seconds of it, Davis, Ankalaev gets on the feet. Davis lands a good like right hand, left hand, and then Ankalaev shoots. He gets stuffed, and while on top, Davis is just kind of like laying there, and then Ankalaev looks for a really good armbar. It's a little too late though. But now remembering round 1, I think Mike Davis out grapples Ankalaev and looks for a face crank and looks for an armbar himself after like slipping to the back. It's something that he was trying to do against Fares Ziam, where he would like pull guard and then like latch himself to the back and roll him over. That's what he was able to do at the end of round 1 or round 2, which is pretty cool. But he loses the decision. He complains. He cries on Twitter about it. I don't really think that's the way to do it, but it is what it is. I think he should fight like Solo or Chanko or something like that. One of those two guys. Ankalaev, given maybe someone just outside the rankings. Bahaman is moving up to 170, so never mind. I would say maybe Ankalaev versus Grant Dawson. I think Grant Dawson should be getting someone in the rankings. I don't know what you do with Ankalaev, but someone who can grapple just outside the rankings, I think would be good for him. Trying to think of these grapplers outside the rankings. Hack Press now. I have no idea. Maybe Ankalaev versus Moises. I think Ankalaev versus Moises, and then you give him that step up to someone like actually just outside the rankings. But Mike Davis, I think I rate Mike Davis higher than Moises at this point. But to the last fight of the card, no one watches up to this point anyway. Cody Gibson versus Abdul Hussein. Round 1, it's kind of competitive. Gibson's fighting the right hand pretty well because Hussein's like with his hands down, not really doing anything. So I'm trying to delete these notes. And he's getting his leg chewed up. And then I think he shoots a bad takedown. Cody Gibson looks for some good sub attempts. No, doesn't get it. Hussein's a little too calm and patient in those positions. He reverses. He gets back up to his feet. Lands some good hard right hands. It starts pouring it on Gibson a little bit more. Starts landing like keeping some good pressure. Some good inside low kicks from Gibson in that round as well, but Hussein just seems to land a little bit better. He was moving with the shots of Gibson pretty well, but he was still getting clearly tagged by them. Round 2, Hussein immediately drops him. I'm screaming. Holy shit, he's about to finish him here. He just sub-hunts the rest of the round. Camping inside control and stuff. Just not the smartest fight IQ. I think he fighters need to let go of the sub attempts, and I think he could have really gotten a much earlier finish for himself here. But round 3, he's pressuring Gibson. Looks like he's about to break him. He's saying some really good body shots. Gibson gets in the clinch and lands a whole flurry, but too weak. Hussein lands a good couple shots back. I felt like Hussein near shot a takedown. I looked away for a second in the fight. Gibson had looked for a takedown or something. He ends up on bottom. Hussein lands him ground and pound. Finds the head and arm choke. Or the arm triangle, I'm sorry. And gets the sub. Decent performance. I would like to see some better fight IQ out of him, but maybe we'll see that in his next fight. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this card. It was kind of shit. I think I went 8-4 on this card. This fight sucks. This was a good finish. This was decently okay. This was a pretty good fight. This was pretty shit. This was a good sub. This was a funny sub. This was a pretty good finish. Good fight and finish. This was fucking awful. This was insufferable. And this was okay. It's not the worst card of the year. I keep seeing people saying this is the worst main event of the year. Maybe it is the worst main event from the outcome wise, but I don't think it was the worst main event. We had Mike Mallett versus Gilbert Burns. So people were saying this is the worst card of the year. I don't think so. It had some decently good fights and more good than bad, I think. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, jazzlovesmma. And catch you guys in the next video. Peace.